Okay guys, so I have my wheels built and on the bike, going super well, and just listen. It's going to sound even sweeter when it's the whole thing's put together. So what's next? Well, it's the Groupset. Normally I would put on the hoods and the derailleurs, especially the rear derailleur and the rear brakes. If I'm working on a frame where I'm feeding the cables through the frame, then I leave the bottom bracket open so I can get the cables past the bottom bracket. However, all my cables are going external on this bike, so I can just go ahead and put in the bottom bracket. I'm going to do that because I can't wait. I'm going to put in the bottom bracket, drawn with the crank. I know where to put my front derailleur then. I am now going to just put on my rear derailleur, cassette, and then I'll put on the hoods, and then I will put on my calipers, brake calipers. Now, I probably stopped there because I made a wee mistake when I was ordering the stuff. This bike is set up for a 140mm rear disc. I bought two 160mm. It's no big deal, I just have to allow for a small bracket to come to allow my caliper to sit out further, to allow for the bigger diameter of rotor. So, without further ado, I'll get started with that now. First things first, the bottom bracket. So, Shimano external bottom bracket, one side, okay, and actually says here, left side. That's the left side obviously, and here we have R for right side. First things first, I'm going to put in some of my assembly grease. Be generous. The more you put in, the less grease is going to get into your frame, especially with a steel frame. You do not want water getting where it shouldn't be getting. And this frame is coated, however, water finds a way. Let's get this side. So right side, it shows you which way is to tighten. So this is the left hand tread. So it's lefty right, it's lefty tighty on this side. Just tighten it up by hand. Okay, and this side, the cup, because it was in line, it should just slip into this taper. There's a screw in, and as you can see, there's already a good bit of grease on the bottom bracket before I even go near it. So again, this is just to keep all the water out where it should be. And this side is a right hand tread, so it's right and tight. So this is actually a smaller bottom bracket. It's for a 24mm shaft. However, the tool I have is for a 30mm shaft. So the bottom bracket housing is actually bigger on those. However, luckily, Shimano supply this with the actual bottom bracket. It slips into my tool. And this slips in here. And just give it just a nip. I don't need to go tight. Don't want to damage any threads or anything. Okay. Just a little nip. Same with this side. Make sure you went full before you turn. And a little nip. Okay. And that's simple. That is the bottom bracket installed. Next up is my crank. Can't wait to get this baby on and see what it looks like. Simply, obviously on your right hand side, frame, give it a wiggle. It's going to be a snug fit. Feel free to give it a little helping hand lead. And then set home. Sweet. And on the other side. I'm going to open this out. There's already a lot of grease in here, so you can take them screws out and put some of your assembly grease onto it. However, I've never had an issue getting these out on other bikes. There is already a good bit of grease in there. Simple. Let me just turn this bike around and show you what I'm doing. Okay, you can see there's the grease is pushed through. Just put it on the inside. And obviously that pedal's down, so this pedal is up. Yeah, the reason why this just doesn't keep going and going is because the grease around the bearings is making this friction. But you need the grease to make, obviously, to make them last long. Yeah, that's really it. I'm just gonna add some of this here. That water getting within the shaft. Okay, and this comes with the crankshaft. It's just a tensioning nut. It's made out of plastic, so obviously there's not much tension to go under. What this does, similar to the head tube, it pulls the far crank in, so the two of them are sandwiched together. Once they're sandwiched, you can then tighten these bolts at the top, and then that will be secured. So this nut is not for securing, it's just for tensioning. And then whenever it's tensioned in place, these top bolts, one here, these top bolts, one here and then one on the far side. Once they're tensioned, then your crank arm ain't going nowhere. It's just a little tool I have for going into these splines. This does not have to be tight. Again, just hand tighten, just enough to get a pull on that. You don't want to go too far. If you tighten too far there, these will actually become more stiff. So you have to try to get the happy medium there. That's how much it spins on its own. Tight now. Okay, so I'm just gonna lift them up quickly, push a normal spanner, just to get some tension on it. It's a bit faster, especially with my big torque wrench. If you have a smaller one, you may not need to do this. Now, don't just tighten one side and then tighten the other. Go one and do one turn each side at a time. The reason for this is if you tighten on one side and then tighten the other, what actually happens is when you the other one tighten, this will actually come loose. So you need to tighten, give it a turn, and then this side, tighten, and come back. And I'm already under some tension there, so I'm just going to have a look to see what I'm at with my torque wrench. I want to call it that. So what it's 12 to 14 Newton meters. So I just have to go with this gauge here, just over the 10, just for safety. I don't want to overdo it. Sitting there. Right. And that is crankset installed. Next, I think I'll put on my other set of gears, which is my cassette. So to do that, I just have to remove the wheel slide on the cassette. It's very easy, I'll show you now. Okay, so here's my cassette, 11 to 40 cassette. Cassettes are held together with a plastic inner sleeve, or with this plastic thing, so all I have to do is just pop this out. So once you got that pulled off, don't take it off the sleeve like I used to do and then put them on one by one. You can do that, but you run the risk of them getting separated and then forgetting, not knowing which way is which. So the easiest thing to do is put it on top of your free hub like this. Look for the widest gap, just that. If you look at the splines here, you'll notice that there's one that is wider than the rest. Try to find that here. There's it there. Try to just line that up. And hopefully, slide straight on. The front then, they're the smallest 11 gear. It's just held on with this nut. See that it just pulls off. And this should be easy to locate. Just make sure that you're getting in the right place. Yep. And then your lock nut secures everything together. Just going to start it by hand. There's a tool for that. Now it says 40 Newton meters, which is quite a lot. Unfortunately, my torque wrench doesn't do that size of a nut. So I've done quite a few of these, and I've never stripped them. So just be careful. Don't be silly. Remember, it's only a small amount of aluminium threads within the free hub. So if you over tighten it, it'll strip them out, and then you're gone. You need to get a new hub. So be careful. Don't over tighten it. Use your common sense. There's no spanner I have. Just give it a little nip for that, and that's it. Worst case scenario, you're better than. Oh, did you hear that? I don't know about you. That sounds just fantastic. Worst case scenario, just start to jiggle a bit. They can't come off the wheel. So if you're not sure, you're better off underdoing it. If you're really freaked out about it, get a proper torque wrench or take it down to your local bike shop. They'll nip it up for you. Now let's get a sound check. I like it.